Almost Friday for those that
Mhm.
need a vacation.
Yes, almost a very short
We're
one.
almost there. Yeah.
No, we care. I love what I do, so I can do it indefinitely, but I still get tired.
Yes. Mental. I don't think it's sometimes you're drained mentally because you put in the effort, right? So
Yeah,
that's
you
just
just
really
need.
it.
Sometimes you just gotta. You work hard and then you gotta
Unplug.
play hard.
Yeah. You know, like this joke of IT, did you plug it and unplug it again? That
That's
would
what we need to
almost
do.
be, sometimes that's what fix everything, right?
Yes, it
Hmm.
always fixes everything. So, hey, welcome guys to the Growth Cycle series for our EB Dev Tech workshop that we host every Tuesdays and Thursdays, starting at 11:30 for an hour. This workshop gets shown on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch, and we're trying to grow enough so that we can get onto Facebook and where else?
Instagram.
And it's no, we can. I think we can do on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with Instagram is
Oh, you
that
would
we
have
can't
to do
share
it
the
on your
screen.
phone.
Yeah, I have to do it
Yes.
on my phone. So
Uh-huh.
that'd be interesting how we can do that. We should be able to do that. You know what? We're gonna figure that out. Hopefully by next time, I'm gonna put it on my things to do. By next time, we're gonna figure out how we can add Instagram to our show. Um, all right. So let me get this presented. As you can see, we use Canva. Oh no, you can't see it yet. Let me share the screen.
Yeah, we're still not seeing it.
There we go. Boom, boom. Let's see here. Let's. Sorry, I'm just checking real quick on our immediate. Just checking all of to see, making sure that it's presenting correctly. Right, let's do it. What are we talking about today, Laura?
Okay, so we're going to continue in this growth cycle where we tap into software ROI. Um, from the research I made, there are a lot of things to take in consideration, a lot of variables. It's not a simple formula, as we're going to state the simple formula too. We're going to show that. But I think there are lots of other things that people should take in consideration when they do their investment in software. There are also a new term, even for me in the vocabulary, we just know, but it's called tech debt. I think it would be useful for business owners to know about that, because whenever they hire a software company or an IT company, they could be
There's
aware of
so
these
much tech
terms.
debt. So
Yeah,
much debt to this tech.
yeah.
Why? I don't know.
It does have, some reasons.
Oh,
I think we
there's a reason to everything.
yeah.
There's an
We went
explanation.
Yes, there's always an explanation. That we went through the pitfalls last series, and I think that gave a little bit of ground to what the tech debt is. But I like exploring these terms with you, and so I can't wait.
Let's do it. All right. So again, why do we do this workshop? And we're thinking about changing the name too.
Yeah, yeah.
Making it something more
I don't
fun.
know about encouraging people to take a beer in the middle of the day. because I
Just
like that.
one? Just one? That's fine.
Just one. The happy hour of IT. What do you guys think?
Yeah, IT happy hour. Actually, how about we ask the audience, put in a comment or a suggestion as to what should we rename um, this live workshop.
Yeah.
But the meaning and behind it is going to be the same, right? So this is all
Hmm.
about you guys, making sure that everyone has a place where they can bring their questions to learn new things, think of, collaborate on ideas, and also find out, ask questions about what's going to be better for their business, completely free. So this entire hour is free. If we can solve it within the hour, and we can give you all the information you need within the hour based on your capabilities, then you left here with something that is invaluable, right? Which is knowledge. And so, yeah, if it takes longer than an hour, or if it's just something like you just don't have the capabilities, we figure out that, hey, you just don't have the capabilities to get that done, then we can talk about how we can help, right? And how we would come into the mix, and how we would scope it out, and help you out from that perspective. Again, everything is free until agreements are signed. So um, we'll, we'll, we're just here to help, and we really just want to make the world a better place, one solution at a time.
Yep.
Okay,
Let's talk tech.
let's talk tech. So Laura already told us what we talked about last time, and then also you can go and review the last video that we just did, where we talked about the software development lifecycle, and the balance between scalability and speed. One second. One second. Someone's giving me a call.
So in this session, we're going to cover ROI of smart development. Like I said, there are some key business metrics that we could take in consideration when calculating the ROI of a software and how you should do that. We have some tips for that. And then what is tech debt and how does it look like? So this session explores some of these, and um, I like the part of the metrics. What are we gonna
Absolutely.
track?
Exactly. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have some form of data or metrics, then how do you know how you're doing, and where, and are you going where you want to go?
Yep.
It's kind of making sure that you're on the road, at least. You're in the lane.
In the lane.
So, what is software ROI, and why is it important to calculate?
This is
It's
an
ex-
easy one.
yes. What are you getting
Easy.
into?
What are we getting into? I think
What
that's
are you
one of the
getting into?
most uh, common questions, right? Clients would ask.
Yeah, I mean, well, and it's uh, people, we get too far into the weeds and into the details and things like that, and at the end of the day, it's like, do we know why we're doing this, and why we're building it, and why it's needed, and what's the problem that it's really solving? Like, who does it help, and what benefit does it provide them? Are we providing them that benefit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we really want to make sure that we we talk about that well,
Uh,
good enough. And it's like, again, right, it's as simple as, what is, I relate to ROI as, what are we getting into? Like,
mm-hmm.
really, what are we really
Yeah.
getting into? Because at the end of the day, it affects your bank account one way or another,
Mm-hmm.
if we need
I
data to track.
exactly. I want to relate to a story that I heard of a client that when they were retrieving all of these freight information that we're doing manually, um, the person, the operator, which is usually the one that is going to be raising their hands into this is taking too long. This is what are we expecting, right? She told us she was gonna go to someone's birthday finally because she was gonna have some time off, of from the offload of all of these manually labor. So I thought that was kind of like the
Yeah.
why.
That's an
So
art. That's a why you're doing this, right?
yeah,
So I can go
exactly.
attend, so that I don't have to do so much more work anymore, and I can go
Mm-hmm.
attend someone's birthday party.
Exactly.
That is like the perfect why. Like
Mm-hmm.
this, if we can save someone's time so that they can actually live more of life,
Mm-hmm.
it's probably worth. It's something worth building.
That's right.
So, what is it really? So, here it's the benefit of the investment minus the cost of investment, all divided by the cost of the investment. And that gives you a ratio of your return on investment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, we
This
do
is
this
why
for
the
all of our,
benefit.
yes, we do
This
this
is
for
what
all
the
our,
benefit needs to be high, right?
yeah. So, also, there's something that's usually I start to track on here as well, which is the time it takes, um, how that return on investment, because time is also a factor. So um, out of the investment, how long is it going to take to make my money back, right? um, and that's up to that's a business decision, right? How fast do you need to make your money back based off of the money that you're investing? um, So, as a smaller business, it's probably a smaller cycle, than a larger. As you get into a bigger business and stuff like that, then you can start making, um, maybe some bigger investments that have a larger, return on
Right.
investment, a larger
Mm-hmm.
timeline on those
Mm-hmm.
investments. um, but yeah, this is when people are saying like, "Oh, I need a revenue engine or some form of investment engine and or capital engine." This is what they're talking about from a small business perspective. Like you just need a little bit to speed up, right? Just move things up,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what these investments are. Um, and then as you get larger and you can make bigger investments, to them it's still the same, right? It's just taking a little bit longer to get there. So the concept is still the same: is that we want to get to where we're going, and we need an engine to get there. Um, and so what's and the engine is kind of your ROI, right? As you get those return, you reinvest that back in, and so now it's like you're laying the bricks as you go,
Mm-hmm.
situation. And like I've said again, software technology is a tool, and you buy tools. You buy. Um, so it's always a cost. There's always an expense to it. Um, and most of the times the expenses should be shouldn't. That's why ROI in software is so important. Is because why even buy the tool if it doesn't make you money from the beginning, or you're not going to. It saves you 6 months of work, but it takes 6 months to maintain it and 6 months to build it. So it's just like, huh? Can I just hire someone to just do it instead of, and so that's why AI is so interesting now, because
Mm-hmm.
it's software that can do many things, and it's dynamic, and we want it to do as many things as we can, but it's kind of in this weird infancy, toddler, adolescence phase. I don't think it's adolescent yet. I think it's still like a child. It's still a child, um,
Hold
that
that
just
thought.
needs to grow.
Hold that thought for next week when we see what's in it for everyone on the AI spectrum.
There we go.
Yeah.
But this is the most this. But at the end of the day, from a technology perspective, every tech department, every tech company, everything. If your software is not providing any ROI, then that's what's the value that you're providing, not only
Mm-hmm.
your clients, your users, or um,
Yep.
if your help desk isn't saving people time,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
All right. So the importance of calculating, I feel like we've talked about this already, right? So it's really holding your tools accountable, right? Making sure that the promises that were made, that the tool and the benefits that the tool makes is going to be true.
Mm-hmm.
And so, did it justify the expense? Right? Did it qualify the value of the digital initiatives? To right? Did it save them time? Did it make them more efficient? Did they make them faster? Um, Now, did it also strategically place you into a successful foundation, right,
Mm-hmm.
for the future?
And I mean, at this point, when everything is at stake in terms of, like, we are already on the boat and we already made this investment. I think the user itself can also, be accountable. Like, I didn't put this part because it's already in the other section, but just stepping ahead a little bit, saying the user has almost, when the software has already been in place, the user has a lot to be accountable for also, because there's no system without a user. And
Exactly.
yeah, and so the user feel like, it almost feels like you would not have any data if you don't input the data. You will not have any, anything to feed on your AI in the future if you don't feed into your system. So
Right. And that's where the reason I feel like we have a lot of success in providing our clients the right technologies is because we think about technology as a tool, right? And so we have to talk, we can't just talk about the tool. We have to talk about the people using the tool.
mm-hmm.
And and they have to own it. And they
Yep.
have to be the owners of it. And they have to feel confident as the owners. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why at the end of the day, every technology that we recommend or that we build, we're build if we're building it, we build it for the user. It's tailor made. If we're recommending it or we're helping implement a tool that already exists, then it's still the same thing. It's the education of the owner.
Mm-hmm.
And we stress that a lot. It's the most important thing is, does the owner of the tool understand how to use the tool?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Is the consistency to use it also, because I mean, one can understand it, but if you're only feeding the system on one daily basis out of 7 days, for example, you're only destroying your own data in terms of how you're going to be using that.
No, that's absolutely true. Again, it's ultimately accountability, right?
Yeah.
we
And
we
both
lay out an
yeah.
entire education plan. We document how everything needs to happen, every step, every procedure. We instruct them, we train them, we show them how to do it, we tell them how to do it, and then we even watch them on how to do it, right? We give them pilots and stuff like that. And of course, not we're not depending on the type of system, we're not expecting them to be experts from one day to the other.
Of course.
But just like just like college, just like any other type of education, you gotta master it at some point, right? Like
Mhm.
there has to be a progress of improvement, of understanding, and of mastery. And and man, this is gonna sound bad, but at the end of the day, there's some users that just aren't able to understand it. And
Mm.
no, it doesn't. No matter how much training, no matter how how we explain it and stuff like that. And then that just meant, okay, did we make a mistake in choosing this tool, or
Do we have to change the user?
we need to change the user, right? We need to find some,
Oops.
we need someone that has the capability to understand it as it should, as it needs to be understood. And I, honestly, when we have done that, when we have changed ownership of the tool,
Mm-hmm.
to the right person, to the right user, it's like butter.
Mm.
It's like, you're skating on butter, and everything goes smoothly. Everything works as it should. Other people on the team start to understand more, because now that person has the right perspective, is able to communicate it from that perspective, and it
Mm-hmm.
just comes out. It just flows. Like, it just really just comes out, and it shows, in everything that they do.
Yep.
So I think I think that's the accountability part. Everything else, you can get everything right, but if you don't have the right person that owns the system and owns the tool, there's nothing. There's nothing that no technology department. There's nothing that, no IT consultant can can solve at that point. It's it's a user problem. It's not a tool problem, right? It's like, not everybody can fly a plane.
Or want to.
Or wants to, right?
Yeah.
And not everybody's a heart surgeon or a brain surgeon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or and actually, there's a lot of people that can't physically, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, and it
Eh,
just takes a lot.
yeah. It's not a Doctor Strange fix kind of thing.
Exactly.
Mm.
You can't use magic. I wish I could. I wish I could fix everybody's problems, but, I there's an old saying, is like, you can't fix stupid.
Oh, I bet.
And
This
I'm
is
not,
just
yeah.
this is just an approach of uh, like I like when things are stupid proof for me. For everyone else in the audience who felt uh the word might not be the right one, it's okay. I feel like I am that user. I love when the experience is just smooth, and I like the word that you say, flow. I feel like that's a great word to describe seamlessly. And like, you know what, when I first got my, this was 11, 12 years ago, I don't know, when I first got my first iPhone and my computer, right away, I loved how eventually I just saw how my notes were like sync with my computer. And that was way back when, but that's just one little feature that just allowed me to be better at my job, allowed me to be executing things that I guess not a lot of people could. And it's not like it was magic, but it seemed like magic. I mean, that to me felt like Swahili on Avatar. Like, you know how you're
Yeah.
sinking into that big monstrous thing,
Yeah, you're
and
connected into the hive mind. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And so it doesn't like I feel like I'm not the smartest, but I'm definitely one of those that have felt that all of those little features have helped, and this is exactly what a software does. It's the tool that allows you to be just better.
Yeah, I don't know. Um, I'm trying to put it into this approach that's on the screen. So initial ROI is often low due to setup costs and improves over time as productivity increases. So there's two approaches: a pessimistic approach and an optimistic approach. But I don't think either of these has like an associated cost, because the way I view it, and the way, and from my experience, right? A pessimistic approach is like, damn, I need to buy this software.
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, I don't want to spend money on this. I don't care to spend money on this,
But
but for
but
some
then
reason
you
it's needed. Like, right?
add the user problem to the
Right?
pessimistic approach.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
like,
And I'm saying, and it's like I know I need to do this from a user perspective, right?
and
I
I
need
hate
to
it.
do this, but I don't want to pay for this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to. I like it's just work, right? Like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to do it. In most
Mm-hmm.
cases, I think that that's a clear indicator that we probably need a different user,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's probably a one red flag of like, hey, let's probably get you probably need help with that. You probably need someone that's more experienced, that actually likes to do that, and that understands it and that's able to do, like, that's probably something you need to delegate over. Um, but to you, it has a really high cost
Mm-hmm.
because you're probably going to have to hire someone to do that pessimistic approach, right? It's going to be a lot more setup cost. It's going to be um, a lot more time investment, because it's
Mm-hmm.
like you going back to you're hiring a um, a professor to educate you on what needs to be done and how it needs to be done. And they're just training you through the process as to, hey, you need this
Mm-hmm.
system for doing this, and this is why. And so there's a high cost there. The optimistic approach is something that you love to do. You
Mm-hmm.
like to do it. You you
These are users that would probably jump in into an opportunity that when they see it, which is
exactly.
awesome. But then,
This is how I am
there's
with technology. Always
exactly.
optimistic. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so, yeah, go ahead. Sorry, finish that thought.
I no, I think we were just in the right cut. The optimistic approach is just that user. I really like users that they like I'm between both. Sometimes I don't want to, oh, yet another app I need to try here. But there are other uses and I'm gonna just say you because you've been way more exposed into a lot more technology than I have in terms of exploring and you know and just using it. So it's not like every other user will have that optimistic approach on things, but it could lower your cost if you're being optimistic because you will be doing it at heart, let's say.
I think, I honestly think that if you stay in that optimistic channel, you can have the highest gain and the lowest cost.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like always. Like, oh, it just always happens because the salespeople are gonna like working with you. They're gonna probably
Mm-hmm.
go out to bat for you of like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, like these 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 people really want to do business with us, and they're really great to work with, and
Mm-hmm.
so they'll probably give you the lowest margins that they can, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is from an ROI perspective, like, it's the pessimistic approach. I just don't think ever works. Although it's sometimes it's you need it, right? Like, through negative things that happen, you do need to have
Mm-hmm.
that approach. But I think you need to be able to quickly identify. This is why this is what a lot of people don't understand about agile. Is like, this is what agile would be, right? It's like the moment we have a pessimistic approach, okay, what's the first thing we need to do to get over to the
Mm-hmm.
optimistic side?
Mm-hmm. Let's calibrate.
Let's calibrate, yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
so um and so this is where we do this all the time as well with all of our the majority of our projects, depending on where they what they are, where we have an anticipated ROI, where we have to calculate why we're choosing this software, why we want to implement this software, and so we have to show the data to say, hey, look, this is the potential. And then you have to, part of your implementation is to calculate and capture the actual, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. I mean, we just finished a project where we were expecting to do 20 to 30% of the transactions using AI, right? Well, that was the anticipated ROI. That was our thoughts. And but now the actual ROI is that we're doing more than half, right? So
Mm-hmm.
more than half of the transactions. So now that's where your ROI is doing better than the anticipated, right? And that's always great. That's always good. Um, and we didn't do that by design. That was these are great surprises. These are good surprises. I hate surprises. That's why we do the anticipated ROI, and we go from there. And so that's kind of how we operate over here. So our ROI is very critical to our approach for our business methodology. We got to make sure that we're making the right decisions, not only for ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
but for our company. And then as a small business, it's so critical. Every decision that you make is very important.
Mm-hmm.
And these are all the
Yep.
things that it helps.
There's this one thing I felt when doing this. A lot of business owners do not realize, even when they're small, they're doing these decisions. They're making their processes. They are executing on that every single day. They are creating impact even when you are only a one sole person. So the it doesn't really this applies to everything, and we can tell you why. But
Exactly.
as I was listing 10, it's like you're exaggerating, Laura, but I think that's how
Well,
what it
this
is.
actually, I like this because it actually gives a good list to whoever's listening as to um, when you're looking for software, right? If you want to create a blanket software vendor list, here's a very easy one, right? Here's
Mm-hmm.
10. Here's 10 things you should think about when you're picking out a software, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does it help the end user's productivity? How does it help the employee's experience? Does it provide data interoperability? Can we integrate things, right? Does it have data security? The business
Mm-hmm.
does it reduce our operational costs or provide efficiency gains through some form of business automation? Does it
Mm-hmm.
overall improve the entire process, right? Does it
Mm-hmm.
save me time and effort? Does it make our process stronger? Does it reinforce it? Um,
And
and it
finally,
and then yeah, customer service, right? Does it provide
exactly.
that service that we want, right? Does it make sure that the customer gets what they want as fast as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's, customers, they want it now, they want it yesterday, they want
Yep.
you to be happy all the time, they want you, so they want the customers are expecting the best from you. And so that's where customer service efficiency comes to play. Does it help you with that?
Mm-hmm.
Does it help you with customer acquisition? Does it make it easier? Does it make it faster? Does it support multiple, what's being called omni marketing or omni
Channel.
portal or omni
Mm-hmm.
channel? Um, and then does it help you attract and keep the customers you already have? Does it keep them happy, right? That you're improving and making things better, right? Might be cost exactly the same, but it just gives you a better look. Um,
Mm-hmm.
there's no ROI. It's net zero, but it still helps. It
Better.
just helps you. Yeah, it helps you
Yeah.
with customer retention. Then
Go to the birthday party.
that's an ROI. It helps you go to that birthday party, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. I
What
love that you mentioned that, Laura.
one thing led to another, but I was just going through. We have to create this business case of a client that went through this process of selecting a shop, e-commerce shop, and I mean, even that little things that were done through that process were significant as part of their interoperability. And so I thought that's one of like the main. I had to put it on number three. That doesn't
Yeah.
mean customer retention is not important. it just means it's listed because it's just
Everything's
consequential.
important.
It felt, yeah,
Yeah.
it just felt like every little thing was just, this would be, all of
It
them
was a
are
domino
important.
effect. Boom, boom, boom,
Yes,
boom, boom. And then
exactly.
lastly,
And
after
then
you've done
lastly,
all of that,
yeah, exactly. You
yeah,
have all of these three benefits for customers.
absolutely. No, absolutely. I agree. I'm glad just to add more on to that, the same lady that Laura's talking about that's able to go to birthday parties now. Just to give the full story, it was a 40-hour process over
Mm-hmm.
over the weekend. So they did that from Friday to Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and now they do it in like 5 hours. So when
Yep.
she was talking about like, oh, I'm actually able to go to birthday parties now, that's
That's when they
that's
happen.
true. That happened over the
Yeah.
weekend, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's a very true thing. So thank you for mentioning that. Is it truly worth the cost? So a lot of people don't understand this, is that it's not just the cost of the software that you have to worry about. It's the cost of the training, it's the cost of onboarding new employees, it's the cost of the implementation, it's the cost of the maintenance of that. And then also, you have to, that's why the ownership of a tool is so important, because it's, if it's good software, it's going to be improving over time. And now, are your processes going to be changing to adopt those improvements, those new features that they're updating the software with? In most cases, it's no, because we're too busy, right? We're just cranking, we're going forward.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why it's really important to have ownerships of these softwares, and because they need to include it as part of their goal setting and their roadmaps, to include those feature changes into their roadmap. Right? That you don't. We're not saying you have to do it overnight or this and that, but it's a very good strategy that makes, and you also have to put that in the cost and the ROI. And so, what is technical debt?
Yep.
That I have a more broader um, definition of what technical debt is, because it's I think that this is one of the consequences of choosing, if you choose quick and cheap technology over robust and efficient ones, it can be because of time constraints. Your boss gave you a made up, hey, I need this done in 3 months, when it's something that should be very thought out. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so
I
time
I think I
constraints. Go
I
ahead.
allocated some of these thoughts, and you're gonna see it on the next screen where I, as soon as you make a decision over your technological things, if you're not making the right steps from the life cycle development perspective, you are acquiring debt in each step. Like if there's nothing done correctly on each step, there is already like it's you're gonna see it. So
Yeah, if you're not following the methodology, if you're not doing the right things at the right time, that's technical debt.
yeah, exactly.
The everything else, the byproducts and everything else, is technical debt.
Hmm. Now this is where the little spot on EB DevTech and the thoughts that we help you go through in terms of business owners and the developer team. This is where it's spot on, I guess, to to say a
Yeah,
few
like,
words about what we do. Like, okay, you don't acquire this debt because here, let's do it with you.
yeah, definitely right. That's, I think that's, I mean, that's actually, we should start calculating that, because, and put it on a dashboard somewhere, because
Mm.
This technical debt is really a byproduct of doing things right. The reduction of technical debt
Mm-hmm.
is literally the yeah
I, I, it's
as
your
part is a it's actually it's a
aumento.
byproduct. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the byproduct of us
your.
not of having less technical debt through our
Mm-hmm.
strategy and methodologies to apply new tools. Yeah, it
Yeah.
might take a little bit longer. We have a whole vendor selection analysis that we do and stuff like that, and it might take a little bit longer, but if it's done right, you get exactly what you need at the price that you want it at for honest. I mean, for a little bit more money at the upfront, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
paying a little bit more upfront, but on the back end, you get everything you need, you get everything you ask for, and you get a good product. You get a good solution. You get a happy team. You, yeah, it's just a lot of good. So um, yeah, so yeah, we gotta. This needs to be us collaboration between business owners and software development team. This is Laura right here.
Yeah, I like those pants.
Those pants. Dang, what's wrong with those pants?
Yeah.
I'm zero. I have no fashion, so I don't know. What are some common types of technical debt? So here it is.
It's just some examples. I mean, there are lots of it. From all over where I was reading them, there was just
Oh man,
everything. Now,
I have examples
yeah.
for every single one of
Mm-hmm.
these.
And then this is where I loved it when it comes to, I mean, these at the end of the day, your IT department is part of your company at some point, and it will always be for a business that needs to have a digital identity, and it's always there, right? So even when you're only one person or a team of three or a team of five or even a big company, um, I mean, it exists everywhere, right? So I thought it was super exciting to see. Yeah, I didn't like all of the depth, but what I saw was that it applied for every single stage of you making decisions towards IT solutions.
Yeah, I mean, planning, not enough of it, you
Or
know.
too much.
Yeah, or
Or
too much
too.
of it. I've seen both.
Yeah.
Process. Oh man, having not knowing what the actual process is, or having um, having an owner, a system owner that doesn't have a good process or that doesn't
Mm-hmm.
fully understand their current processes, that adds a lot of process debt. Infrastructure, trying to do things the same way you've done it before, and
Mm-hmm.
on something old, on an older version, right? That's I mean, it's just a matter of time before all of that turns into end of life. Nobody's going to maintain it. And then now we have another project where it's okay, how do we remake all of it?
Mm-hmm.
And that's technical debt. So yeah, we talked about that before. I think we talked about that with the software a lot, with the frameworks,
Yeah.
is that you got to make sure that there's a long term plan for that framework. So same thing
Mm-hmm.
with infrastructure. You got to make sure that there's a long-term plan for that infrastructure.
No.
Code debt, I see that all the time. But that just that's this is so the only one I would say
Mm-hmm. On software.
that is like on the software side that would
Yeah.
be very different here would be code debt because it's the hardest one to quantify out of all of
Mm-hmm.
these.
Yeah.
Um, The reason being because every developer, every engineer is unique in how they
Mm-hmm.
would solve a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So the things here is making sure that um, that it's defined well. Um, I, I, I feel biased here because I am an engineer. I am a coder. I am, I've done all of these
Mm-hmm.
things. I've done all of these things. Um, but from a coding perspective, the only way to combat this is by having a good architect, by having a
Mm-hmm.
good solutions architect, by having a good leader, a good code leader that is enforcing code practices, that is making sure that things are standardized, and not more so from a standardization and from a practice perspective, but like look at the code and see if it's good code. Like if it can be better, make it better. Write it
Mm-hmm.
better. If it can be structured better, structure it better. Um, so I think this is there's a lot of ways that because it depends on who the leadership is here,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so
I
there's a lot
feel
of different
I've
ways to go about that.
I've felt from knowing how other engineers think in terms of coding that you guys do have like a normal way to think in terms of framework from a high perspective to a very little one. So I mean, the fact that you are in that industry already makes you prompt to do well standardization. What you want is to have a user that understands that, so that how can I help you is actually translate to that code. So
Exactly. Like it's a flow, right? It goes
yeah.
all the way down here, right? So it has to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that telephone is what happened here and what's happening here. Does it
Mm-hmm.
truly make it
Translates
over here?
exactly. Yes. Yeah, like I feel like for every time that I've talked to from a user perspective, I feel like I don't necessarily know where to place the problem, where either if it's on a macro level or in a micro perspective. So yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm not a developer, so.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, this I have because it's very rare to find a QA or a testing team um,
Mm-hmm.
that has good synergy with their designing team, because these are the ones that are going to find all your faults, right? Hey, you've done
Mm-hmm.
all of this wrong.
Oops.
Um, so I find this is the funniest relationship here, because you have the people that take it very seriously and they're like, okay, are they about to fight? and then
Oops.
you have and then you have the folks that are more open, that have they have a good attitude, that have the good character and stuff like that, that
Mm-hmm.
they're just joking, like they just joke with, like they're just having a good time together, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, you messed this up and let me tell you how you messed this up, right? um, have you ever met someone where they're really good at telling you what you're bad at, but you can never stop smiling at the way they do
Yeah, I have tons of it.
it?
I think like I feel like look, so I've only mentioned one, but he's like when I admire him is like at the cleverness of how much sarcastic can you be, and in a character way this would be kind of like Chandler Joey relationship, but in a way where they've told me it's like I think you're making sense but you're not at the same time. How do you do that? How how do you, I've seen it happening.
I love,
And
yeah,
it's
these,
truly genius. Like when you get someone to get you in that way, it's only and they're making fun of you, it's only because they get you. They actually
yeah,
understand you. But they
yeah,
can't understand why are you like that.
yeah. Those are the best QA, and those are the best testing teams to have for sure.
Yes. Yes.
So talking about testing, that inadequate testing, it also, here's something that happens all the time. this was defined here and it was programmed here and it was tested here, right? But these folks usually come back to this to the developers and say, "Hey, this was wrong," and then they say, "Well, I only built it the way he told me to," right?
And then,
And
uh-oh.
so we go back to the building and testing perspective, and it's um, and then so it's like, okay, well, let's go back over here. It's like, well,
Who designed this?
yeah, man. So the funniest part is here is like when you get those jokes is like, no, there is no bug, right? There's no problem with how it was built. It is
Mm-hmm.
working as designed, right? It was
Mm-hmm.
working as designed. Um, and so now we both have to go to the product owner or the BA and be like, is this working as it's designed or not?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's literally the question
They.
because it's like, okay, we can't answer this. You and I cannot answer this. So let's go back. Is this working as designed, as the
Mm-hmm.
way it was defined, right?
And what does the client has to say about this?
And you know what's funny? The funniest part is that when it comes back, those are probably the two options that you have. The answer is either yes, no, and it's very clear as to no, right? And it has to be like it gets redefined, and now it has to be designed that way and then tested again. And then the last
Uh-huh.
one is I don't know. Let's go ask.
Yeah, exactly. Oops.
uh, I didn't. Or it's not. It's not. I don't know because they were.
They were
Um,
involved. Yeah, but
it's
I
not that
get it.
they weren't involved. It was that I don't know because we defined it right. Like it's defined the way that the client originally wanted it, and we didn't think about it that way. Like we got to
Mm-hmm.
think about this a little bit more. And so
Yeah.
let's go talk to the client and see what they think. What's the new based off of what we have now, and we can show them what we have now, right? Because we're being agile.
Mm-hmm.
What do we? What can hey, we have something to show you. Is this what you meant? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Is this really what you wanted?
Mm-hmm.
And there it's either yes or yes but or no or and then now it's a conversation as to how to redefine the requirement to bring it back into
Exactly.
place. Deployment is
Wow.
straightforward.
Yes. So all of that, I like how so these are only a few examples. There are just so many more.
Oh, anything can
Um,
go wrong. Anything can go wrong.
yes, I'm gonna
uh,
cover that in a blog post.
awesome. There's so much debt. There's so much anything can turn into debt because debt is really if you're betting that things don't go wrong, right?
Hmm.
And you don't. And sometimes you plan to have some debt, right? Um, but there's just some things that you can't account for. It's just you'll
Yeah.
fix it when you get to it. And actually, that's we're talking about that later. And not all technical debt is bad, right? Some things you can't um, ignore. You just
Hmm.
or avoid.
Yes.
It just has to happen.
This is a great transition because the next slide is exactly that. It's like I like this quadrant at the top where we must shift now. There should be a balance, like it's you have to go on. It's not like you can't. So, but I love this joke. Is what's layering? That is so fun. You can't be this unplanned and reckless. So come on, you can't.
Yeah. So this is the quadrant chart. So you have at the top you have reckless on the left and prudent on the right, and then from top to bottom on the left hand side you have planned at the top and unplanned at the bottom. So we have reckless and unplanned with what's layering. Like
You
you
don't
know
know anything.
nothing. You don't know what's going on. You don't know your left foot from your right. What are we doing? What does the client want again?
That is so funny.
And then you have unplanned and prudent. So let's get away with the unplanned because I hate surprises, right? So nothing. I don't like anything that's unplanned.
Yeah.
So let me get away from that as soon as I can. So prudent
Hmm.
and unplanned is well. Now we know how we should have done it. I love
That,
that because
yeah.
I have said that right. I mean, there's things, and you can't get away from
Yeah.
the unplanned. There are just things that are unplanned, and you didn't
Yes.
even know to plan for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just now you have something you're really you really care about what you're building. I've said that. You're quoting me there. Um, now we know how we should have done it.
It's
And
okay. I mean, it happens.
yeah,
It's
yeah, and
life.
and and what I love that we do a really good job for those we know how we should have done it moments, um, because we've learned we learned
Hmm.
something, and usually we say that really early on.
Hmm.
Really early. We're really agile with how we do it. We know we usually do the things that we can't that we know have the highest risks, and that have the more ability or potential for unplanned events to happen. So we take care of those as soon as possible. We take those unplanned into a planned status, um,
Hmm.
and we usually have those types of conversations really early on. And then we
Hmm.
have the planned and reckless, which is we don't have time for design, or we don't have time for infrastructure, or we don't have time for
Hmm.
security. Um, we don't have time for blank. It could be
Hmm.
anything in the methodology.
Yeah.
Again, these are the times where why did things go wrong is because you skipped a step.
Hmm.
You didn't do it. You didn't do it right. You didn't do everything that you did to make it perfect, right?
Hmm.
And time is important. Money, we don't have money for design. We don't have, you can change time and design for any of the three quadrants, right? Time, cost,
Hmm.
and resources.
Exactly. Yep.
So, so yeah, that
We
one.
want to be always on that quadrant where we estimated something, and yet we are continuing. Like
Well,
everything will be kind of like a little trade-off of the time and.
yeah, what I like about this one is that it's planned, right? It's telling
Hmm.
you it's planned. So you're
Yep.
just, so what does that mean? You're making a decision to be reckless,
Hmm. Yeah.
right? I like this quadrant a lot because it's a decision matrix, really.
Hmm. Yep. Hmm.
What type of decisions do you want to have? You want to have most of your decisions over here, right?
Yep.
These are the types of
Exactly.
decisions you should be taking. These are the types of decisions that you don't want to take as many.
Hmm.
And then these are the decisions that, well, you don't got
You
another way
learn
to go.
from.
Yeah, these
Yeah.
are decisions you learn from. There's no other thing. There's nothing you can do about the decision.
Hmm.
You're just now facing the consequences. And what are we gonna do to go from here to here, or to over here, or really
Hmm.
just from here to here?
Yep.
You go from an unplanned to a plan.
Yep.
So that's a really great slide.
Hmm.
Yeah, actually, you're making a really good point here because technical debt doesn't mean poor quality.
Hmm. Yes. So I didn't quote only I it didn't quote a video that I watched only because I kind of went through this specific conclusion without having to listen to it. So it's like, yeah, but it shouldn't really means this. And when he said it, I was like, oh man, I can't quote myself. But it's always I'll list it as a resource. So that was a really
Awesome.
good conclusion. It doesn't mean poor quality means you're just reckless and unplanned. which is not the case. Shouldn't
Right.
be the case.
No,
Never.
technical debt doesn't mean poor quality. In most cases, you have technical debt to provide
Hmm.
good quality,
Exactly.
right? So
Yeah, that's a, did you, I'm going to get this quote. I like
you're gonna
that one
clip it,
better.
you're gonna mark it
Yeah.
here. I'll mark it on.
Hmm.
There you go.
I'll mark it so that I can conclude that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, absolutely. Like that's a really good misconception. I love that you put that here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does not mean poor quality. It just means
Mm-mm.
we should have we had to pay more to get where
Yes,
we wanted to go.
exactly.
We missed a
Mm-hmm.
few exits. We didn't refuel where we needed to.
Mm-hmm.
We drove a little bit longer
Mm-hmm.
than we wanted to for our destination.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We had
Yep.
emergency pit stops because someone needed to go to the restroom and it took away time. And then
Mm-hmm.
everybody started spending money, and now we didn't have the same budget. And
Mm-hmm.
so it doesn't mean poor quality. It just means it took
Mm-hmm.
us a little bit. It cost us a little bit more to get to where we wanted to go.
Yes. Because life happens.
I mean, it could. It, if you I'm just saying this from a perspective that you're always trying to do your best, right? If you're
Mm-hmm.
always putting your best foot forward and you're doing your best,
Mm-hmm.
it should not equate to poor quality. But if you're just not capable, or you don't have the skills or the ability to do the task at hand, you you can have poor quality, right? You can have a lot of technical debt and a lot of poor quality, but the correlation now just points at you, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you're the problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where the data points to, is that I need to be accountable
Mm-hmm.
for this technical debt and for this poor quality. So
Yep.
that's the key there.
Yeah, that's a great closing thought. Definitely. So we talked about accountability, all of the benefits that come from calculating a good ROI, everything that goes in place, and this word came had to come again. I'm sorry, the word balance. I feel like this was a closing statement of the last session, but it just continues to be.
Yeah. Like, this is where I like what they're saying. Quick workarounds might mean you meet your deadlines, but make sure you know the cost. And
Mm-hmm.
this is where experience really matters. Like, if you
Mm-hmm.
know someone knows what they're doing,
Mm-hmm.
their quick turnarounds save you money. Were you
Mm.
ever, working from in an ambulance manufacturer for a lot of my career, and actually going out to the line and meeting the electricians and working with alongside with them on projects. Um, a good technician will save you so much time because
Yes.
they just know this stuff. It's
No,
part of
they
their
know.
DNA. They just get it done, right? Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I need to know which of these slides turn on. Okay, well, oh, it's this one. They just feel it.
So easy.
Yeah, they make it look really easy,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where we we do that. Like, I know that we're at that level because I mean we just had this project. One of our clients came to us and was like, "Hey man, I need you to help me out on this. This was supposed to be due next week. I had 4 weeks to do this, um, but my team just hasn't been able to get it done." And then we're like, "Yeah, we'll help you no matter, we're here to help no matter what, show us what's going on." And then we take a look at it and we're like, "Yeah, yeah, we know exactly what needs to be done." And the cool thing is that they're like, "Okay, we started work on it and we're able to give them the quote and we get it done." Like, it's in what, like, it's a 1 week worth of work, and we just take a look at it, and one minor conversation with the team of what needs to happen, and we can just give them a quote. It's like, hey, it's gonna be this much, and don't worry about it. We'll take care of everything. There's it'll be done. It'll be done by Monday. And they called us on Thursday. It was like, yeah, we'll get it done by Monday. And by the way, it's gonna be X, this amount. And they're like, are you sure? Are you sure you're gonna be able to get it done on Monday? My team hasn't been able to do it in about a month. And we're like, no, we got this. We know what we're doing. We know exactly what you want, and we delivered, right. We act by that Monday. We told them, hey, here's how it works. Here's the documentation. Here's what we've done, and they're just so happy. They're just that's that's what feels like magic to me. It's like
Mm-hmm.
when things just flow. That's magic right there.
Yeah.
Do their work.
I don't think I finished up that sentence over there, but yeah,
Oh
do
crap, we're
their
getting
work.
into the good stuff.
Yes.
We're getting into the
So
good
as
stuff.
so these growth series are definitely very stimulated in terms of everything that's going up in the tech world, and AI and machine learning and large language models are everywhere. So what's in it for everyone in the small business, and how this weekend, I think, did we started our campaign for field work this week? Yeah, yeah. We
Yeah.
started the campaign for some field service workers this week, and we're evaluating and launching a software for field work that we're going to be presenting later on this month. But next week will be how is it applying to various industries? How is it changing e-commerce like a lot? Um,
Now we're
we
cooking.
know, yeah, we know Google has been doing some other things, but uh, there's no, and I say this because I recently watched this blog of someone that said, do not give up on building your own brand and credibility in terms of how you are making your solution, right? Because we are doing it from a technological perspective, but other people are doing bakery and making magic in bakery. Other people are doing easy to do, sort of how to fix stuff or how to do this, and you just don't give up. And so I think AI has done a lot of work for me, and
For a lot
I'm
of us, and it
sure
will do a lot of
for
work
a
for
lot
us
of
in the future.
exactly,
Oh, now we're
exactly.
cooking. We're getting into the good stuff.
Yes,
This is what I've been reading. This is what I've been researching. This is what I've been nerding out about. Um, so you get to hear more of my voice.
awesome. I like that. Okay, so I guess we wrap it up with no questions, but this
Oh,
was
for
a
those people that are just listening on the audio, so the next week's session, we're talking about AI, machine learning, large language models, Internet of Things, and what's in it for you. And so, how are they being applied in the industries, right, from different markets? And then later on this month, we'll be talking about how AI is changing field service work. Um, we have
thing.
Laura was mentioning about some campaigns we're starting to work on the field service. We have a really good tool and partner that we're working with on that. Um, it's we almost want to just switch to their platform. It's really good. IT governance
We
frameworks.
can't. That's the thing.
Don't tell me. Now we are. Don't tell me what to do.
Oh, it's different. It won't work. Should we just send people to the field now? Is that where the
Everybody.
business is going?
That's where
Oh,
we're going.
nice.
We're
Okay.
changing everybody. Everybody's gonna have to
Okay.
go to field service work now.
Nice. Okay. Okay. Let's do that then.
It's work. It's hybrid. That's the definition of hybrid.
Yep, that too. I think you're right. You do have a point. We can't do that. Yep. Mhm.
All righty. All right, guys. So this is your IT help desk opportunity, right? So this is a live tech show we do every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11:30 a.m. Central Time. This time is for you, for anyone that is seeking IT solutions or I have a crazy idea. We are working on a blog post on the common pitfalls in software development and reducing technical debt before it costs you. Um, Again, leave in the comments your what should we rename the workshop.
Mm,
We're thinking IT happy hours. Is that or
yeah.
are we
I
talking
think I like the other
techno
one.
techno
Yeah.
happy hour?
Yes. I like the spin you made to the techno because we could then listen to some.
Yeah, we
I
can have
guess
some
I don't know.
techno on the background as background
Yes.
music. Okay, I'll
Mm-hmm.
figure that out. Um, all right, so right now we're leaning towards techno happy hour, where you can come and have fun with us for the hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And thank you guys so
That's
much.
it.
If you have any questions, please contact us. We should probably put an email on here
You're right.
sometime.
I missed
Um,
it.
no worries. So let's put the email there. We'll have an email, so you can contact us at info@ebdevtech.com. Um, Sales inquiries, right? If you want to work with us on a project, or if you want us to solve a more bigger problem for you, please feel free to give us a call. We're here to help. And again, thank you guys so much. If you have any questions, send them to us. Take care. Comments below. Follow, like, share, comment, all of the things. Goodbye.
Ciao.
I need to smoke.
Oh. Okay.